Welcome, collectors, and thank you for joining me for this installment of Diecast Emporium Presents Military Mondays. This episode covers the M9 Ace, which stands for the Armored Combat Earthmover. It's a combination scraper bulldozer vehicle that provides combat engineering support to the U.S. Army. It was first fielded in 1986, and the Ace can eliminate enemy obstacles, perform maintenance and repair of roads and supply routes, and construct fighting positions. It only has smoke grenade launchers as its defensive armament, meaning that there is no weaponry for offensive operations on this vehicle. The M9 performed exceptionally well in both Gulf Wars and Afghanistan. Typically speaking, there are 22 M9s in each U.S. Army Combat Engineering Battalion. The engine, drivetrain, and operator's compartment are located at the rear of the vehicle, while the front has an 8.7 cubic yard bowl, apron, and dozer blade. That's the statistics and information. Let's take a closer look at the actual model. So this is a kit by Roco MiniTanks in 1/87 scale. This is the packaging that it comes in. As you can see, you do have to assemble this kit, although most of the large pieces, such as the tracks, the main vehicle body itself, is pretty much assembled. If you wish to, as I did, you can prime it and paint it in a more accurate color, because it comes in just a basic green color that's not at all accurate to military green. So I chose to paint it in Tamiya Desert Sand. You can see the item number is 5077, the M9 Ace. Here's the side. Here's this side with this information as well. Now, I do believe Roco MiniTanks is out of business, if my research is correct. There's the back of the packaging as well. So when you take it out, you do get a few different spruce cutters with some pieces that you have to cover. This is the model fully assembled and painting that you saw just a little while ago. So the M9 is a very unique piece of engineering equipment because it does the work of a lot of different pieces of heavy equipment that you would see in the civilian world. As I was going over the initial overview, you can see that it has a dozing blade, like, say, a track-type tractor bulldozer would have. It also has a bowl and an apron that a scraper would have. On the back, it has some tow hitch mechanism, so it could do some towing and pulling, like, say, a tractor or a tow truck would do if necessary. And this vehicle is also semi-amphibious, meaning that if there's small waterways or lakes or passages that need to be covered and crossed in order to do some construction, this vehicle is more than capable of achieving that as well. So it's a very unique and very flexible piece of equipment that the combat engineering battalions have at their disposal in the U.S. Army, and it's proved itself time and time again since the mid-'80s. Now, as far as the model goes, there is some functionality on it, but you got to be a little bit careful. You can see that you can raise the blade up. This is what the interior of the apron looks like. You can also fill this up in a real-world situation as well if you needed some weight for buoyancy. And if you were pushing something and you needed some more added weight, you can see that you can lift the blade up, perhaps scrape this along, have your apron full of dirt or material. I mentioned the only defensive armament that it has is its ability to screen itself with smoke grenades. You can see those right up here, which I've highlighted with some black paint on the tip of it. The main operator would sit in the back, and you can bring this part down. This is an optional piece that you can take off. And this machine can be operated standing up if need be, or operated from inside, or even the newer M9s can also be operated by remote control. This is also a ballistic glass screen. An antenna has been added. If you wanted to see what the undercarriage looks like, that's what it looks like. Obviously, I didn't bother to paint completely underneath. There's also a tow hitch and a step ladder here, or really it's more of a small access ladder to gain access into the back. Some lights, some rear and forward facing headlights here, and obviously that brings us back to where we started with the main workhorse part of the machine, the blade, and then the tracks. So overall, it's a very unique, as I have already said a couple times, piece of equipment used by the combat engineering battalions. Any piece of mechanized infantry would often have one of these, especially if you are going into some pretty uncharted territory. You'll also see these in construction of FOBs, or forward operating bases, out in the Gulf, alongside other large military combat engineering battalions. So, yes, they still use regular scrapers and bucket loaders and dozers and things like that, but the M9s are certainly not far behind, and they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So that will conclude this episode of Diecast Emporium Military Mondays. Let me know down in the comments section below what you think of this pretty unique and individual vehicle. And also, you can look over here for some other suggested links to some other episodes in this series. Until next time, I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, be safe. I will see you in the next review.